he pretended to marry an 18-year-old girl. After bringing her home, he would not allow her to tell anyone about their relationship, and he made her stay in the house doing work like a servant. But hard-working, capable Ely quickly earned the AI family's approval. Coming from the countryside, Ely prayed in a humble way that maybe one day Ady would be moved by her and acknowledge that they were husband and wife. But then Ady's fiancée Mary suddenly came to visit. Ely hid in the corner quietly watching the beautiful Mary, feeling incredibly inferior inside. And Mary also learned from the AI family that Ady had brought back a country girl behind her back, which made her a little on alert. She asked Ady out to talk. Ady felt guilty as can be, explaining that when he went to the countryside for an interview, Ely's mother begged him to bring Ely to the city and help her find a job. He said it was just a small favor. Then he used the wedding as an excuse to change the subject. The trusting Mary believed him and immediately started talking about the wedding with Ady. Marrying Ady had been her wish for 7 years. Ady struck while the iron was hot and went with Mary to her mother's house to discuss the marriage. But Mary's mom looked down on Ady from the start, not only because her daughter was marrying down, she especially could not stand that Ady often neglected her daughter for work. But Mary would not marry anyone but Ady, so her mom deliberately tried to embarrass him. How much do you make in a month? With that tiny apartment of yours, do you even have enough space to hold a wedding? Ady pushed back without flinching. As for whether my family can host a respectable wedding, why don't you come back with me and see for yourself? But what he did not know was, by then the people at home had already gone off the rails. They had drunk Ely's special rice wine, riding the buzz of the newlywed excitement. The whole family completely let loose when Ady brought her mom to the house. This was the scene waiting for them. Mary's mom could not help mocking Ady. I do not want the guests tomorrow at the engagement to see something this out of control, so the engagement has to be held at my house. Ady turned pale with anger and tore into Ely, saying he would send her back to the village. His family hurried to defend Ely. They had already come to like this cheerful, sincere girl and treated her like part of the family. Ady realized he was making a mountain out of a molehill and did not dare force Ely out for fear of raising suspicions, so he had to drop it. On the day of the engagement, the family even gave Ely a dress, inviting her to attend Ady's engagement banquet. When everyone arrived at Mary's house, they finally saw what a real class gap looked like. Just then Mary appeared in a pink dress, like a fairy stepping into the room. Ely stared at Mary, who looked like an angel, then looked at her own ordinary self, and could not stop the tears of shame and hurt. Meanwhile, Ady happily exchanged rings with Mary, but the woman's ring slipped from his fingers, as if destined to roll right to Ely's feet. Ely picked up the ring, and could not help thinking back to her own wedding scene. While Ady watched her with a nervous face, Ely did not want to keep eating a half-cooked meal, so she handed the ring back to him. After the engagement ceremony ended, Ady could no longer stand a relationship filled with lies. He asked Mary to meet at a cafe, and told her about being pressured into marrying Ely in the countryside. Mary could not handle the shock, and fainted on the spot. Ady rushed Mary to the hospital. The doctor said Mary had been under a lot of stress lately, and could not take any more intense stimulation, so when she woke up Ady had to lie, saying it was all just a prank. But Mary did not believe him, pressing him on whether he had really married Ely. How could I ever marry a girl like that? She is nothing but our housemaid. Every time I see her it gives me a headache. Those words were heard by Ely at the doorway. She ran out crying.